Hey everybody, it's Ethan McKinley and welcome to the 2-Minute Terminator, where we break down the Terminator films 2 minutes at a time. It's episode 21 of Terminator Genesis. We're on our 5th season now. If you are just joining us, welcome. Thank you to all the new fans that have been writing in and following us on Facebook and Twitter. And we're going from minutes 40 to 42. That strange disembodied voice you hear across the Zencast airwaves is my lovely, disgruntled, begrudging co-host, Ellie Fitzgerald.
Hey, how's it going, everybody?
They can't hear you, Ellie. Well, no, they can hear you. We can't hear them.
Well, in my head, I can just hear a crowd.
But yes.
Create your own reality.
It's the 2 minutes. Exactly. Well, I tried to with this podcast. We're going from minutes 40 to 42. The 2 minutes bridging that gap. And yeah, Ellie.
Hit the music.
God, it's just so late on this stuff.
Hey, I think this guy's a couple cans short of a six-pack.
Howdy, stranger.
Don't say howdy, stranger, to me.
Load up.
You didn't do the fourth. Thank God. It sucked.
Yes, we're back.
Ethan?
Hello, everyone. It is the 2-Minute Terminator. Yes.
We're suffering a massive delay. We're going to have to restart this because I did my bit and then you went,
Why?
yeah, she's not picking up. I'd already oinked and said hit the music.
I know. I was leaving a dramatic pause. We're going to leave this in anyway. It doesn't matter. We're in perfect sync.
I didn't think we were in sync.
I was taking... No, we are. I'm taking the Pisel.
Oh. And I swore. Damn it! Anyway.
And it's not being edited out. Anyway, hello everyone, welcome to the show. We do, of course, break down the Terminator films 2 minutes at a time. We're going to watch minutes 40 to 42. As I said, the 2 minutes bridging that gap, and it opens with the T-1000 getting essentially caught out when he gets shot in the big toe by Emilia Clarke's new version of Sarah Connor. As good as Linda Hamilton's Sarah Connor,
I've
Ellie?
actually come to a huge realisation about Sarah Connor and Emilia Clarke. I don't think she's half as good as Linda. No.
Swiftly moving on then. Yes, she shoots Jai Courtney's car race. The best version of the character so far, Ellie?
No.
Moving swiftly on then. So yeah, she shoots Jai Courtney in the toe. He turns back into Byung-hun Lee, my favourite name of all time, which I love saying. Who's playing the Asian, or Oriental, sorry, Social Justice Warriors, I said it wrong. There was a voice on the phone. It was Asian.
I'm sure it was Asian. Why can't you say Asian? Why is that racist? What does that include?
Because I think it implies old British colonialism. When I think with the Queen, China was obviously a royal, like Australia. What do you call it? A royal
Flush
thing.
I have no idea
that's
what
a
you're
card
talking
game.
about.
Basically, she shoots the T-1000 in the foot. He goes, "Oh no, bloody hell, I'm caught out!" And the clip ends with Arnold going, "You must leave as soon as possible," before he fires up his homemade, the biggest time travel travesty since Back to the Future 3, when Doc Brown miraculously builds a freaking time machine train with materials. Who knows where we got them in the Old West?
I
but
would have been
there
so
we
much
go.
more impressed if they'd really gone old school DIY and he'd like fashioned it out of egg cartons and washing up liquid bottles. And...
Well, that's the problem with I think the problem. I mean, I guess it's a plot hole, but you forgive it because it's a movie. But that's kind of my issue with it, really. He's built a time displacement machine. How he would know how to do this as basically a Terminator, a foot soldier, a walking dishwasher. How he'd have the inside track to build this machine, unless, like I said, this. Or you've said this mysterious person has told them, which they're not mentioning in this film. Someone sent them back and they didn't give everyone the right information, but he's obviously told Arnold's version of the T-800 Pops how to build a time displacement weapon. The only thing making it work was the new Terminator chip, which they couldn't have used out of Pops' head. I don't know. We'll come to all this in this episode.
Shall.
Eleanor,
Yes.
you have notes? I have
many
notes. Let's roll.
So my first note on this really, it's more a qualm than a note, and that is when Sarah, aka Amelia, aka Fat Tits, when she shoots the ceiling and she obviously hits all those canisters full of, I'm guessing it's acid, some kind of sulfuric acid.
Yes. Well, they've got that lovely rocket salad dressing they spray on it to kind of neutralise
Yeah,
it,
plus
don't
it
they?
gives it that really glistening effect. Like glycerin. When she shoots the ceiling, she would have been absolutely splashback with acid.
Oh yeah, anything hitting the floor or the walls, or just the, I guess, the
Just
misting
fact
of
that
it, because
she's
it's
aiming upwards and she's still underneath it, and she's just kind of slowly walking backwards, just like she's just moonwalking out of there.
Well, I mean, not just that. The gas, as the chemical reaction, as the acid starts to eat through the floor of the T-1000, the aerosolizing nature of the chemical, I guess, that whatever it is, the acid, be like in her lungs by now, and she'd be dead.
That's what
I know she's got a gas mask in like 30 seconds into the clip, but even so...
That was my next point. Why
do
put
question-
the gas mask on after you've moved away from the arena of conflict? She's in the tunnel, she's nowhere near the gas, and just think, she's just got this all wrong. This is what happens when you let a woman try and save the world.
Well, even so, even though the Terminator doesn't actually breathe, Arnold's pops wouldn't, because he's like organic material on top of an endoskeleton, that would be fine, but the organic material, wouldn't his eyes be streaming or
Yeah.
burning? It would still react like flesh,
Well,
wouldn't
yeah,
it?
because if you think about it, the pores will kind of dispense into the air, and then even though you might not be hit by it, it would still have an effect because you're exposed to that atmosphere. So yeah, I thought that was utterly ridiculous. Why there would be acid in the ceiling as well? What's that about?
Well, it's not that. I think they've just got those giant drums of acid above the thing, but I don't know.
Very weird.
If it was
Maybe
a
that was
sprinkler
planned
system, I
all
could see
along.
that it working, because it would be everywhere, but the T-1000 could, I guess, maybe avoid whatever canisters or drums that she shot. I don't know. I think you'd need to kind of pan up and actually see what was up there. I don't think you can really see it in this clip.
Going back to something that I've mentioned quite a few times, and the fact that the Terminators never
Yeah,
run.
she's, you know, those...
Sorry, do carry on.
It's those kind of weird... No, sorry, Ella, I was just going to say, there is a delay, actually. I apologise, you're right. Those kind of yellow drums are full of the acid, the same things they kind of shoot and attach to jaws with the
Jaws! I
harpoons,
thought
and all they can see is
exactly
those
that,
yellow
yeah.
barrels.
Although I watched on Mythbusters that if you shoot a thing full of gas with a bullet, it doesn't explode.
It doesn't explode. That is, I saw that. Did I show you that? But yeah, they were shooting it into the fake head of a rubber
Yeah.
shark, didn't they? And it didn't actually go off. Well, you know what? The gas does try and escape, so it would have kind of shot backwards like a
But it
rocket
would-
out
yeah,
of his
but it
body and
wouldn't
kind of fucked him up
explode
pretty
it would,
badly.
A, it wouldn't explode, and B, it wouldn't explode a whole shark. But hey, it worked great for cinematic effect. Going back to something that I've mentioned so many times, and that is that the T-1000 well, as you know, the T-1000 does run. He has a little trot every now and again, but Terminators, they never really seem to have urgency at the right time. When the T-1000 is being sprayed with all this acid, watch it, you would have thought that would be the perfect time for him to start running. No. He really slowly walks towards Sarah, and then obviously he starts to melt. His body starts to fall apart. You can see the liquid metal is trying to reform, but it's obviously not happening because he's being showered with acid. I actually thought that particular scene reminded me of T2 when Robert Patrick is exposed to all the liquid nitrogen, and obviously he completely freezes, and
Yeah,
as
and
he's
he's trying to
walking,
do that
it's just that,
stumbly
yeah.
walk.
And then he collapses because his leg goes, and then his arm goes, and then he looks at his arm. I thought it was actually really quite similar to that. So maybe it's like a homage.
Yeah. Oh, it's exactly like that. I don't know. I think, yeah. Why would you just not move and start pegging it immediately towards her?
Terminators are
Or
meant
abiling
to be all
the
about
splashback, as it were.
You're there to do a job, and you will do whatever it takes. And yet, he's pretty lax.
Do you know who he does remind me of? Who kind of, I guess, is a bit Asian looking?
On Facebook.
Is Yul Brynner as the gunslinger in... Huh?
I said you.
No, not Ewan Chung. Not Los Angeles Asian actor Ewan
He's
Chung.
really
not him.
funny.
He reminds me of Yul Brynner,
Why?
like the gunslinger in Westworld. Because Yul Brynner's kind of like... I know Yul Brynner's not Asian.
Well,
I know
well,
he
he's
played
Japanese.
the King and the King and I, but he's...
Is he
No,
actually not?
I don't know what he is. I think he's actually from Yugoslavia or somewhere, but he
there's
played
got
the
to
King
be
and the King and I,
some-
so I always associate Yul Brynner.
Oh no, I can't even say that word, can I? He's got slitty eyes. There you go. I said
I'll
it.
tell you what, Yulbrunner, he's Russian. He's from Vladivostok in Russia. So I guess technically that is Asia because you've got like Kazakhstan and Uzbekistan and all those kind of. And as you go through those countries towards like
quoting,
the China
stop
area,
quoting,
people start.
What's it called?
People start to look. No, but people start to look more Asian, and I think he's got that in him. And that's why he looks Russian, but he's got that kind of touch of Genghis Khan kind of looking. Like the Mongolian kind
What was
of
the
look.
name of that film that you
A flavour of,
where
anyway.
people can go and they can live in whatever reality they want, and he's a robot and he malfunctions and tries to kill them. What is that?
I just said Westworld. That's who it
Westworld,
reminds me of. He's a bit like the gunslinger in Westworld. Have you seen
Yeah,
that?
you showed it to me. I watched it with you.
Oh God, we spoke about it 2 days ago, and I was like, "Have you seen that?" You're like,
You should.
"Yes, I was with you when I saw it." On a side note, HBO's Westworld is opening actually, I think last week. The second episode is actually out now with Anthony Hopkins. Anthony Hopkins, you remind me of me as a robot 20 years ago. It looks really good actually.
Oh, really? Oh my God, yeah, of course.
Kyle and
Yeah, I
Brady
saw
did.
it around
Yeah,
the
Kyle and
Metro.
Brady did a review of it.
Yeah, I saw that.
Sorry,
I read it in Metro.
Yeah, they did a review of it, and they said it's really good.
Well,
They said it's like a giant world, and like
in the West.
you can stay in like the town area and just like have sex with all the prostitutes and stuff. But if you want to get involved in any kind of actual adventures and danger, you have to go further out. And the further out you go into Westworld, into the far reaches of it, the more dangerous it is. There's like cults in it and stuff, and people knocking off railroads and robberies and stuff. And you have to kind of get involved that way.
oh my.
So it's like an immersive adventure. But oh my. I'm George Takai. Oh my.
That sounds so good down the phone.
Load the photon torpedoes, Captain.
Uncanny.
Anyway. We have some mailbag.
We do. But can we not do that at the end after I've done my notes?
We
Yeah,
can.
I will. Enjoy fucking Jules. Oh, that's 2 fucks on this show now. Turn down the volume on that so I can.
We've just gone out of PG-13 rating. Then you're allowed 1 fuck. Oh, that's 3 fucks now. That's 4.
What's
Fuck.
that?
5.
Is that a rating of
Damn.
15 or 18? Actually, I haven't said see you next
That's an R
Tuesday,
rating
so
now.
that's fine.
No, that's an R rating as well. We were in PG-13 territory with the 1 fuck, and that's 6 now. All right,
Oh,
forget
fuck
it.
it.
Anyway. 7.
7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. When the T1000 is slowly melting, did you not notice that his face remains intact for rather a long time, even though his head is going all wibbly wobbly all over the place, and yet you can still see half his
Well, it
face?
kind of hits his face, doesn't it? It looks cool, but he just keeps walking. Well, my thing is, when he kind of like, you think, oh, he's dead, and there's that kind of classic horror movie moment when he jumps out of the mist and starts swinging his like sword arm. What, in actuality, in the reality of this film, does Arnold Schwarzenegger actually grab on
That
him
is another
to
point.
carry him? Because if it's essentially liquid, what is he holding? His skeleton underneath? His bones? No, he's liquid metal. He'd just slip out of his hands. He'd like be able to get around
Slippery
Arnold, I would
bugger.
have thought. Or at least kind of like, yeah, if you picked up the T-1000 by his neck while he's melting and he's already liquid metal, you wouldn't be able to hold him in place to kind of get him all acided up, as it were.
That leads nicely on to my next question as
We use
to...
the scientific
With
terminology.
the T1000, if you again going back to T2 because that was actually a good film. Whoa, Ellie, below the belt. In T2, you see when the T1000 gets pushed into the liquid metal. As he's changing, he's trying to change form to try and, I guess, preserve his life. Trying to change shape into all different types of things to escape from the molten metal. Why did this T1000 not try and manipulate its shape to try and get away or turn into something or to manipulate Arnold's, hold on him? I don't know. I feel like they really missed a trick there. That could have actually looked really, really cool.
Well, they didn't miss a trick, because if he did that, the fight would just go on and
Well,
on,
no,
and they're
'cause
trying to move on to, I
eventually
guess, the
Arnold's
next scene
gonna
and get the
win.
narrative
But
route moving.
that begs another question. Where the hell has Arnold been all this time?
Just hanging out.
Literally, it's like you're meant to be looking after Sarah. You sent her off on her own with her cheds out, willy-nilly, and she's just narrowly avoided a shower of acid. Well done. You should be so proud of yourself. Yeah, so then Jai runs along. Oh, this is a point I wanted to make about Emilia Clarke playing Sarah. They've massively like sexualized her, and this makes me sound like a feminist right now, and I'm not. But what I have noticed is with the original Sarah Connor, Linda Hamilton, at no stage, I mean, she doesn't really have a cleavage. Well, she probably had more of a one in T1 as opposed to T2. All that puppy fat, you know, she wasn't really portrayed in any way to be like sexual, voluptuous, or alluring. You know, even when you have the sex scene between her and Carl Reese, I mean, there's no side of that makes me think anything even slightly salacious, because it's just weird. It's almost like watching two, like.
Emilia Clarke's like that though. She's kind of voluptuous, isn't she?
So that's another reason why I don't understand why they picked Emilia Clarke. She's got really big lips.
Because,
I look at her
as I
and I
said
see
before,
two things: big lips and tits. That's not Linda Hamilton. Have you
I don't know. They're not. Well, if you see her in Game of Thrones, weirdly, they're not actually that big.
Because I remember thinking, oh yeah, she must have decent boobs. She went, Ellie, it's flagrant advertising, and you sent me.
Flagrant fuzz.
Yeah, you sent me an image of her topless, and I was like, oh yeah, they're not actually that great. But they've put, you know, they've picked someone with really big lips, and in this scene, she's just got this really low V-cut top on, and I'm sorry, but anyone that is looking at anything around her boobs is gay. They're so, like, in...
What?
Yeah, obviously you're going to be looking at her tits, no?
Not necessarily. I didn't really see her as a sexual thing. I know she's kind of got this like cocky attitude. I think that makes her come across as a bit, like we said, smug at the last episode, or the last two episodes back.
Stinks.
Yeah.
But no, I'm sticking by
He's
what I say.
asking questions. She's treating him like you're an idiot. She's not being a very good kind of teacher or guide. She's like, we already planned for that. Shut up, Reese. We've been doing this for 10 years. Don't touch that. Pick up this.
Yeah, she's being absolute.
Yeah.
You just want to shut me in a room. Actually, no, that's in the next 2 minutes. Shut up, Ellie. No, I'm sticking by what I say. I think they've tried to make Sarah Connor a bit more. Well, they've made her more attractive. And that I don't know.
You just like Emilia Clarke, and you can't admit it.
I like her. No, I really
That's what
don't.
yeah.
I think her acting's good. I just don't like her as Sarah Connor. I really don't. It's this attitude. Sarah didn't have that. Even in the second film, the only attitude she had like that was towards her own son. And this guy, Jai, I'm not a big fan. Bless him. He's come across time to help her out, and she's just constantly. She hasn't even told him what the plan is. You know, he's constantly finding out along the way what the hell is going on. I don't know. What's the big idea? I'm almost feeling sorry for him right now. But yeah. Oh, bless him. Do I have...
Ellie, did you know Byung-hun Lee's P1000? Did you know? Sorry, listeners, if we're stepping over each other's lines here, but we're through a bit of a weak line. We're not in the same room. Byung-hun Lee, who plays the T1000. According to the IMDB trivia track, which I've taken this from, so take this with a pinch of salt, as all my notes. According to this, it says Byung-hun Lee's T1000 has only 25 minutes screen time. Now, they've said only, but I think that's quite a lot, considering it's a 2-hour film. So he's in like 1/4 of the film. But I think if you put all these scenes together, it would no way would make 25 minutes. Probably make 6 or 8 minutes, I think. During the 1984 period of the film, Guardian, the Arnold Schwarzenegger Pops character, loses the skin on his right arm. Here's one for you, Ellie. When Sarah later asks him why he can't travel with them to 2017, he states that he needs time for the skin to regrow. Although, the Terminator 2 Judgment Day, the T1000... Why do I keep saying T1000? It's become the new basically. Sorry, although in Terminator 2, 1991, it's already established that human tissue on a Terminator can actually heal. This is the first movie to confirm that the skin can actually regenerate completely.
Ooh. Are there any cock-ups in this 2 minutes, Ethan?
So in basically... no, because I haven't put them in yet, because I'm an idiot. I still haven't logged them. We'll get to them. Maybe we'll have a cock-up episode. I just like do an hour of cock-ups. I'll get to it, folks, I promise. I think what I'm essentially trying to say, because those notes weren't very clear... he mentions when they're pulling the bullets out of his back in Terminator 2, after they switched his chip and they're, doing etc. And he goes, I have detailed files. She goes, it makes you more efficient killer, right? You piece of shit. She goes, these will here, won't they? You're not much good to us if you can't pass through. And he goes, correct. But in this, what the suggestion is here is his entire like skin and muscle with regrow. Like, I guess if you cut the leg off a certain lizards and things, they kind of
they
grow
do.
the limb
It's like
back,
worms
don't they?
as well. You cut them in
That's
half
what's-
and they'll just grow a new head again. Very cool.
Arnold the worm.
Worm. Although worm is an old-fashioned word for dragon. Did you know that? Yep.
Really?
Worms get their names derived from dragon. It's back from Arthurian legend and things like that. It's really ancient. It's pagan. The great worm was actually a dragon, and then the worms in our garden were named worms because they're kind of a similar shape. Just obviously they don't fly. A little bit of knowledge for you there. Right.
Oh, I've got a cock
up. Bing! There's a bit of resonance on that.
I think because the line's so bad here, when you went bing, I think the effervescence on your voice just made it all the more funny. Incorrectly considered a plot hole. Here we go, Ellie. Though previous Terminators didn't know how to build a time machine, it is explained in this movie that they don't know who sent the one back to Sarah's childhood and that they taught him how to build a time machine. It would be plausible for the person who reprogrammed the machine to add knowledge of how to build a time machine. But how would they know that?
There's many
Because
questions to follow.
what is it? The John Connor's team, which has got Doctor Who puts his hand over his mouth before Karius is kind of in the time vortex before he kind of pops into 1984. We see all that. That's the first time machine they've found. Like, that would take years of back engineering and experiments to kind of figure out how it worked. I mean, who? You know what I think the twist would be if this did have a sequel? I think Skynet sent all this stuff back and it's all been preordained. It's all been pre-planned, and this is all part of Skynet's plan. That's the only way the Terminator would know how to build a time machine, right?
Yeah, I guess. And it was all a ruse. Decoys, Lois, decoys.
Well, I don't know if it's just going off like actual logic, which this film I guess has none. It would take years of R&D to figure out how to build and work a time machine. And this Terminator, it seems, Pops' Terminator, has like the knowledge of how to do that. I just
There's many questions I have about Pops, but I'm going to have to save them for the next few episodes because I'll be spoiling it.
oh,
Uh,
well, you can have one now.
no, because we have mailbag.
Oh, okay.
No. It'd be much more relevant.
Who's it
Much more
from?
relevant for the shows to come. Cliffhanger. We have
All right,
a
then.
big, heavy sack from James Spaldner. Thank you so much for writing in, James.
And again, James, we've asked on every episode, can you do you want to do a call-in show as a guest? You don't have to reveal what your job is or what you do or where you
please
are in
get
the
a voice
world.
distorter as well. I think that would be amazing.
Yeah, get your CIA voice distorter, get it off one of your goons in the CIA,
Don't
and
call
come on
them
the
goons,
show.
dude. Right.
You CIA goons ever whack anyone,
they?
Hillary? Did they?
Right, so James Spaldner writes in on the
Vote
29th
Trump.
of September. Episode 15, note for you. Hi, guys. Ethan, the big Robocop gun that Sarah has is the Barrett 50 caliber rifle. The one in the movie is the M82 and the very first variant of this gun. It went into production in 1982, hence the M82 I'm not going to read that. Some kind of gun word. There we go.
Nomenclature.
So yes, Sarah could be using this gun in 1984. It's what she used to shoot the T-800 in the scenes from episode 12, where we first meet them in this movie. Oh, that's the one that makes that kills it immediately. And just like this does with the T-800 in episode 12, the bullet would have gone straight through the back door of the truck they're driving, not blown it off its hinges. I reckon Spaldner's shot one of these bad boys. Also, its bullets do not explode anything it hits, like they do in RoboCop. They are not explosive rounds for the gun, but nothing to the explosive size that you see in that movie. The explosive rounds actually used in real life are the Raufoss rounds. MK211 is the official. Say the word, Ethan. Yeah.
Nomenclature.
And they are less boom and more burn. They meant to penetrate and set fire to anything flammable, explosive, inside of whatever it is you're shooting. Finally, Ellie had mentioned that Sarah, being raised by Pops, would have been a very messed up person. I don't think she'd be completely whacked out, though. Did I say she'd be really messed up? think you're putting words in my mouth, Boldner. He didn't raise her from birth, so she did not. So she did have human interaction in some of her formative years. Plus, depending on who actually sent Pops back to her, they could have programmed him with the necessary logic needed to get the basics of parenting done, should the need arise. Do you reckon he ever put her over his knee and spanked her? Discipline!
I think we've done this letter already, actually. You did mention how hard it would be if Arnold was your surrogate father and he was spanking you.
Because the last one we read out, we received it whilst, we were reading it. Oh, I don't know. Parenting done, should the need arise. I think he could have been easily programmed to teach what was necessary to get her to where she needs to be. Even so much as to what he would need to do to make sure she gets into a school. Load up some teaching software into his brain, turn him on, and off you go. Oh, you had to do it. He's a giant speak and spell. Okay, that's all I've got until next time. Keep up the good work, you two.
Yeah, I think we've already done that letter. Thank you, James. We've got actually another letter which relates to actually the last episode we did, episode 20. I think maybe we should do that as well.
Then. I don't think we read that last one, but I will read this one too. Although I wanted to say this for a later show. Hey guys, I have something for you regarding episode 20. Ethan, you had said that you don't understand the Officer O'Brien J.K. Simmons storyline and that the department store scenes with him didn't make any sense. It does. Though, because that is the reason he is in the disgraced cop that... Wait. That he is the disgraced cop that the others think is crazy much later in the movie. It's because of seeing the T-1000 in 1984 that he believes in robots and future soldiers, and believes Sarah in the end. You have to keep in mind that, in this timeline, the attack on the police station in 1984 never happened. So that's not where he gets his crazy theories.
Oh, yeah.
Pops and Sarah killed the T-800 that would eventually shot up all those cops. Pew, 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 pew. O'Brien spent 30 years trying to convince everyone that what he saw back then wasn't all in his head. Also, you guys keep wondering, this is the thing, that I was just like, you little bastard! Something I realised later on in the last episode. Also, you guys keep wondering why Carl said that he was born after the war began, but he still has memories of living a normal life before all hell broke loose. That's because when he jumped back, and when John was attacked, Judgment Day moved from 97 to the release of Genesis in 2017. He was born in 2004, so he now has a new set of memories that run parallel with his memories of what originally happened. See, this is why it would be so much more relevant later. Kind of like the movie Frequency, which starred Dennis Quaid and Jim... How do you say that name? There we go.
Caviezel.
In Genesis, they show us two overlapping sets of memories, which he is in the time displacement machine. One shows him crouching next to his parents' graves outside the dishevelled, burnt-out house. The other shows him playing at his normal house and having a birthday party with his parents still alive. Okay, that's all I have for now, thank God. No, I'm joking. I'll write in with some more soon, I'm sure. Keep up the great work. Oh, and by the way, I will come on the show when you no longer need a John Connor. Until then, I'll just keep being the voice of motivation, speaking to the future from the past. Oh my God, that's amazing. Spargo, I love you, dude. He literally is.
Okay.
He is speaking to the future from the past.
We need... Why did we just have him on as the presenter the whole time? He knows more than we do.
No, because
we're watching
he's
the fucking
like
film.
the third musketeer. We need Spaldner. He is part of this show.
Okay. Spaldner, though, screenwriting 101. Why bother having J.K. Simmons in it in the first place? Just to have this one cop who goes, I believe you. It's just a silly idea. And I really do think he was one of the cops in it makes more sense. I know it's a different timeline and those memories don't exist because this never actually happened because they've defeated the Terminator that shot up that police station. He's absolutely right. How I missed that, I have no idea because I'm an idiot. Why even have the character in the first place? And if you did, I don't know, it just seemed made more sense that he would have come from that police station. Should have been Volkovich. He should have been the Lance Henriksen character. They should have got Lance Henriksen in this because the age he is now, it's perfect because it's the exact same kind of like timeline in real life. Like the aging Lance Henriksen as a kind of like fan nod. He'd be like, we couldn't get Paxton, we'll get Henriksen. And yeah, he's got dual memories.
Ethan, I'm losing you.
How would he
can't
have
hear
parallel
you.
memories? I don't get that. I've seen Frequency. I understand that. I just think it just seemed like a weird why you'd have two dual memories. I don't
Ethan.
think it was very well. I know Spalding got it, but we clearly didn't. So it's obviously not very well telegraphed to the lowest common denominator. Which, sorry everyone, we just lost the feed for a second. We are back. Yeah, this letter, Ellie. I don't know. How did we miss that then? I mean, it's not. Is it very well done? I think he's got dual memories of the both pasts.
We can't discuss it because it's coming up in. I mean, okay, we can discuss it, but we're just going to be repeating ourselves. So sorry, listeners. I don't understand how it's physically possible. This is one of the ones where I said to you previously, I don't know how I'm going to talk about this episode because all they are doing is talking about the skewed timeline, and I still struggle with what on earth's going on. But what I'm getting from it, because I have watched the clips over and over and over again and made extensive notes, is that because something so big happened in time, and he was near a nexus point, I don't know, when he was in the time displacement, because it had such an effect on what was going to happen in the future, it kind of split his kind of...
I know, but it's the same character experiencing two realities, and that's not...
Dude,
like Sarah Connor's not
Terminator,
reaching back or remembering
aren't real.
anything from her future or past.
What is it that James Cameron said? Stop asking
That is
questions and
true.
shut up and watch the movie.
Okay, we'll leave it there.
I'm here. I'm listening.
Hello? Oh, well, your recorder's not registering on my
it
thingy.
should do, because it's registering on mine.
Okay. Well, if you can hear Ellie, all good. If you can't, her internet's not working. But
No, my
thank you all for listening, everyone. We shall return, of course, tomorrow. Well, I'm not picking you up, Ellie. If you're listening to a disembodied voice of Ethan only talking, not to himself, but to Ellie, but it sounds like I'm schizophrenic. I'm not actually schizophrenic. I'm talking to Ellie. We'll return tomorrow with episode 22. We'll go from minutes 42 to 44. We shall return then, of course, hopefully with a better signal, and Ellie can conduct
indeed.
a show where you can.
Way!
Ellie says she can indeed.
Hasta la vista.
Very happy to be here. Yes, I've been to McKinley. Hasta la vista, baby. Hopefully you could hear us both. Oh, God.
Watch out for machines. They're unstoppable. Watch out for machines. They will rule the world. I'll be back.